What's up, everybody? Couch Mills here, coming at you with a brand new Valorant video. And in this video, we're going to be breaking down everything that we know about Episode 3 that is just around the corner, including all the known weapon changes, potential huge economy implications, agent buffs and nerfs, and much, much more. We want to break it all down so that you're ready for Episode 3 just around the corner. But go to the GameLeap website down below for the highest quality guides that are just anywhere on the internet, including in-depth advanced VAR reviews, teaching you step-by-step exactly what you need to be doing in your games. Go check it out right now down below. But without further ado, let's jump into the video. Now, of course, we gotta briefly mention the weapon changes. The weapon changes are plenty. There are a lot of them. We did an in-depth video breaking them all down, so we're not gonna revisit that here. That being said, I think the notable ones that you need to really keep an eye on are the Marshal, the Operator, and the Stinger. Specifically, the Stinger and the Marshal are going to dramatically change potential eco buys because of how powerful these weapons are at a lower price point. It's definitely going to be something that people are going to be using a lot more, and the Marshal's in a prime position, I think, to really carry a lot of games, and at a cheaper price point, it's all the better. Now, the Operator is a very interesting one because I think it has the biggest chance of affecting the meta as a whole. At a whole 300 credits cheaper, that is a huge deal when you're talking about an Operator. People potentially being able to buy an Operator with light armor or even full armor way before they could previously, and you're going to be slightly less punished for buying that op, and if it wins you a single round, that is a really big deal. In a world of crazy abilities and abilities kind of taking over, the Operator is going to stabilize the meta a little bit, but is it going to be too powerful? We don't know quite yet, but smash the like, subscribe. We're going to be doing some in-depth guides about how to counter Operators later on for when it does become powerful. Now, the next thing that we do need to talk about is the economy changes. With the weapon changes, we saw a lot of 50 increments where things are going up and down by 50. Now, we don't quite know if there's going to be a new mechanic where potentially you can buy certain things at 50, things that we could never buy before. Like, imagine being able to buy like a light armor for 50 or something like that. I'm not saying that that's the thing. I'm just saying that there could be a specific new thing that we can buy with 50 credits or some increment of 50. But even more interesting than that, in my personal opinion, is the idea that every single ability could be changed and balanced fundamentally different. There's a lot of abilities that are kind of in a weird spot where they might be a little bit too expensive at that next 100 up, but maybe they're too powerful at that 100 down, so you could split the difference. And I wouldn't be surprised if we see many abilities get changed in 50 increments, or in the first patch there's going to be a lot of 50 increment changes, and then we'll probably see many more going forward now that this is a new tool that the developers can use to better balance abilities, make it more in line with the power level that they desire. Now, of course, we just did a breakdown of the new agent leak, ability denial robot that most likely has throwables. Very exciting to see a character that goes in the absolute opposite direction of the absolute ability powerhouse of a character that was recent like Astra. I'm really excited to kind of return the game a little bit to the roots of gunplay, and this is a really interesting way to do it, and perhaps will take away some of the power level of a lot of these really big ability heavy stall comps. Think compositions like Astra, Viper, Sky, Sage, you know what I'm talking about. The compositions that Team Liquid played a lot where they didn't have any duelists at all, maybe those compositions will have an actual natural fold now in a character that can really punish all of those really important abilities. Now, the next thing that we got to talk about is agent changes. First, we're going to talk about most likely to get buffed, then we're going to talk about most likely to get changed, and then most likely to get nerfed. First one, buffed. Yoru definitely is going to get buffed. They already said they're going to buff Yoru. That is most likely going to happen. Now, next up actually is Brimstone. Brimstone is most likely going to get buffed. Very low pick rate, and honestly, the weakest controller. Even if another controller is going to get nerfed, Brimstone probably needs some sort of changes. Wouldn't be surprised if Stim Beacon either gets reworked, made cheaper, or, you know, maybe just delete it altogether and turn into a different ability. Now, Breach and Sky are two characters that are going to get changed. Both of them are losing 3 flashes, but their power level is going to be moved to different aspects of their kit. Now, we did see with Viper that sometimes when a character gets changed in a fundamental way, it almost feels like a new agent just gets entered into the game. Like, Viper legitimately feels like a new agent that affected the meta directly, and I really am excited about them changing a lot of different agents and, you know, moving the power level of those agents around a little bit, especially when the triple flashes was definitely a really polarizing point on both those agents. But moving on to the 3 agents that are most likely to get nerfed, there's Astra, there's Viper, and one you might not be expecting in Jett. So first off, Astra. Astra's very powerful. Using her abilities, she can dictate games. She saw a ton of play at the freaking LAN event, and of course, she's just been tearing up NA. Now, Astra doesn't quite get the same amount of pick rate in ranked play. Astra is most likely going to get nerfed just because her impact in pro play. You got to remember that Riot typically bounces from the top down, the pro play down, and even though Astra needs a certain amount of synergy to make work, they're still very likely to nerf her at least parts of her that can really be comboed well with others. So we're gonna have to wait and see what those are. They might just do a raw power decrease by like capping her at 4 stars, or they're gonna change some other aspect of her kit and redirect power like they're gonna be doing with Breach and Sky. Now Viper's in an interesting one because I personally believe she's in a good spot. However, I could imagine a scenario where Riot thinks she's a little bit too far and further buff that damage dealt upon touching her smokes down a little bit. Remember, it was originally at 50 and then they brought it down to 30 and it's still really good, and Viper has a solid place in the meta. You could probably still down that a little bit even more to 25 and Viper would still be a solid force to be reckoned with. Don't know if that's necessary, but there's a scenario where we can imagine it, so it's important to mention here. And then last up is Jett, a character that just saw a crazy high amount of pick rate in the LAN event, always has seen a lot of pick rate in freaking ranked. And Jett's a character that we're really gonna have to keep a close eye on because you gotta understand that when the op becomes better, Jett automatically becomes better as well. For a character that is already the top of the meta in the duelist category, she's gonna be even better going forward. And we did talk about how it's really hard to balance the operator previously when you have a character that can use it so much better than every other character in the entire roster in Jett. So because of all this, because Jett is at the top of the meta, because she was already strong before, because she's pressed to get stronger, they most likely will be looking in her direction. Maybe not at the start of episode 3, but if the operators changes stay, I wouldn't be surprised if Jett is the one that actually gets neutered later on. Now the next thing that we got to talk about are performance changes coming. We did get that measly 1% change to high-end PCs, but that's not where they're stopping. They're specifically trying to target low-end PCs so that they can just play the game a lot better. They're trying to make high-end PCs act like they should, because a lot of high-end PCs are just not playing Valorant very well, even though Valorant should not be that demanding out of a game. And then they are also trying to make more stability happen in ability hyperactive team fights with Viper and Hunter's Fury and a lot of things like that. They're trying to increase the stability of those fights, so that's most likely to be coming at the start of episode 3. Now we do know of a quote-unquote clash mode coming soon, a 5v5 mode of some sort, tournament ranked mode. We're not entirely sure what that means, but we do know that a way to play with your friends and actually get ranked for is coming just around the corner, and they did say sometime in episode 3, so that might be at the start, it might be somewhere in the middle. We don't know exactly what this is going to be, but like usual, smash the like and subscribe, and we'll be sure to cover it the second we know more information. Now, before we go, I wanted to really talk about what changes we need and what changes would be amazing for Riot to surprise us with, and there's 2 that come to my mind right off the bat: a map editor and a replay viewer. Now, map editor, I might be getting, you know, a little too optimistic, but being able to customize training routines, I think would just be unparalleled. Being able to make nice maps, custom games, things like that. Doesn't even have to be that intensive, but I would love to just be able to make my own little training session. That would be really cool, or be able to design training session for other people or GameLeap viewers. Now, coming back to reality a little bit, a replay viewer, I think, is one of the most important things that any competitive game needs to have. Being able to look at a pro player and look at that code for that match, be able to throw that into your system and watch from every single person's point of view, look at everyone's point of view, be able to slow it down, rewind, things like that. And you could even do that with your own gameplay. Incredibly important for improving, incredibly good for content creation. There's just so much to that is just amazing, and I do think that Valorant needs to get on that, and I know that they will make that a priority eventually, but we don't want to wait around forever, because I think that that is one of the most important changes they could possibly have. And definitely let me know if you agree, or what other changes do you think they need in episode 3. I really want to know your opinion about all that. But go to the GameLeap website in the links down below for high quality in-depth guides, tips and tricks, VOD reviews. We got so much damn content on the GameLeap website that you just gotta go check it out or you're missing out. But thank you so much for coming by. I love yo damn faces, and I'll see you next time.